All right, grade 8. We are going to try recording some YouTube videos and posting them on Schoology so that you can hopefully watch them. And if they don't work immediately, you can try using them again later for the math lessons, because the Google Meets are not working well. People are getting kicked out a lot and Google's having issues. So here's your math lesson for today, grade 8. We're going to look at Carl Gauss, so it's this lower part. Carl Gauss was a mathematician that figured out an adding strategy. So we're going to read the paragraph about Carl Gauss and then use the chalkboard in the bottom right corner of this page below to understand how Carl Gauss found the answer to his teacher's question so fast. Then we have to complete questions 1 to 3 below that. It shouldn't take a long time, but please make sure you understand what's going on and that you get the correct answers, because there will be a homework quiz on this material when we get back to face-to-face learning. So here it is. Carl Gauss was alive a long time ago. He was a German mathematician. When he was about 10 years old, his teacher asked his class to add all the whole numbers from 1 to 100. His teacher assumed that this would keep the students busy for a long time. Teachers never give students busy work, or do they? A few moments later, Gauss showed the correct answer on his small slate to his surprised teacher. To understand how Gauss solved the problem so quickly, think about solving a simpler related problem. Think about adding the numbers from 1 to 10. Explain how using the adding pattern shown on the slate makes it easier to calculate the sum of the whole numbers from 1 to 10. So let's have a look at this over here. So what he's done is he's taken those numbers and paired them up, the lowest number with the highest number, and then the second lowest with the second highest. And we notice that the pairs all add up to the same number. Well, from the numbers 1 to 10, if we divide 10 by 2, it tells us that we've got 5 pairs of numbers, and each pair adds up to 11. So we can quickly figure out that the sum of those numbers would be 5 times 11, which equals 55. So that's the answer to 1B. We're already done one question. Question 2 says use Gauss's adding strategy to add the whole numbers from 1 to 9. So I've figured this out below here. Question 2. So we start pairing the numbers up and we get 1 and 9, which equals 10, 2 and 8 equals 10, 3 plus 7 equals 10. Sorry, my 10's a little sloppy there. 4 plus 6 equals 10. And then 5's left over. Well, notice it's exactly half of what all the sums are. 5 is half of 10. So that means we can take 4.5 pairs times 10, and it gives us 45. That's the sum of the numbers from 1 to 9. Okay, so that's the answer to 2B as well. When we have an odd number of numbers, the number left in the middle is exactly half of what all the sums are. Question 3, I'm going to do A with you and E with you, and then I want you to work on the other 4 on your own. Make sure you understand how to do them and check your answers. So 3A, we have the numbers from 1 to 100, so we pair them all up. Well, 100 plus 1 would be 101. 99 plus 2 would be 101. All the pairs pair up and sum to 101. If we take 100 divided by 2, we end up with 50 pairs. So we take 50 pairs times 101, and the sum of all of the numbers from 1 to 100 would end up being 5,050. Okay, now 3E gets a little more complicated because it's not going up by the same number all the time. It starts at 3 and goes up by 4 each time up to 87, going up by 4s. So we use a pattern to figure this out. First thing we got to figure out is how many numbers are there actually in this sequence. Well, we could list them all out, but that's going to take a long time, and mathematicians like to use shortcuts. So we're going to use a shortcut. We're going to take the highest number, 87, and subtract the lowest number, which is 3, and we get 84. Well, there's not 84 numbers, but then it's going up by 4 each time. So we divide this by 4. So 84 divided by 4 is equal to 21. This tells us there's 21 numbers. Now, hold on a minute. If you actually listed these out, and counted them, you'd realize that there's 22 numbers. When we subtracted 3, we subtracted that number away from the list. So we got to add that one number back. So whenever you do this, you add 1 back. So there's actually 22 numbers in that list. Well, now we pair them up. 3 plus 87 is going to equal 90. Same with 7 plus 84, and we could work our way down the list, but the sum of the pairs is 90. We have 22 numbers, which means, let's divide that by 2 to get our pairs, which means we have 11 pairs of numbers. So we take 90, which is our sum of the pairs, times 11 pairs. 90 times 11 will give us our sum, and that's a sum of 990. So there's our final answer. Okay, so I want you to try that with the other 4 that I haven't done with you. Mr. Roofer and I will be on a Google Meet during math today so we can help answer your questions. And hopefully this will work a little bit better with getting students connected. Good luck with this. Make sure you submit all of your work to the lesson on Schoology by tomorrow morning.